The Army Painter is my favorite hobby company in the entire world. My desk is literally full of Army Painter products, and it takes me from being an average painter to putting above tabletop standard models out into the tournament scene. Not only that, but the Army Painter has sponsored more competitive play than any other hobby company in the industry. They allow us to keep doing the things that we do. If you enjoy the Army Painter as much as I do, head over to thearmypainter.com where you can use the discount code ARTOWAR5 to get a discount on your next order.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another exciting Art of War live video. We are here today on the most perfect of all days, a tier list Tuesday.
This is a blessed day. It's Tuesday. All Tuesdays are blessed, and today is even more blessed by the dark gods because we are talking about Emperor's Children and all of their wonderful datasheets.
Absolutely. This isn't blessed by the dark gods, it's blessed by the dark prince. There is only one deity in this house, and his name, or their name, or her name, we don't really ask questions here, is Slaanesh.
That's right, folks. We are going to go through and rank every single datasheet in the Emperor's Children Codex, including those new demon ones, and this is going to be based on their competitive merit. We are a competitively focused Warhammer channel, so if you're interested in learning about competitive Warhammer, learning the game, becoming your best, please subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified every single time we go live. And we go live like 3 times a week, plus more extra videos.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we make so much content, but, you know, liking the videos, sharing with your friends, leaving a comment, let us know what your favorite Emperor's Children units are. All that really helps us make more content. And you know what? This week, I think you're going to want us to make more content, because GW did announce on Warhammer Community that there's an update to the game sometime this week. So we might even have more than 3 videos this week.
Yeah, who knows? The only way you're going to know is if you subscribe to the channel. And not only does it help you get notified, but it allows us to keep growing and continue producing this content for you. So we love that. You love that. Just hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, like the video. It's all good.
Yeah, nice and free, nice and easy. Of course, if you want to see even more amazing Warhammer 40,000 content, even if you want to see some Emperor's Children games, perhaps, make sure you check out the War Room. That's where we put all of our premium content. There's a link right in the description below. You could even get a free 3-day trial. If you're curious, you know, you haven't been in the War Room yet, you're not sure what it's all about, but you kind of want to find out, you're tempted perhaps, maybe you just want to go watch me play 3 games with Emperor's Children Codex.
That's right.
Free trial, right in the link below.
That's right, folks. All right, now that we've gotten through the foreplay, let's get straight into
we're never done.
Sheets. Oh, no. Okay, John, let's talk about Slaanesh. What do we got here?
All right, so we're going to be ranking these data sheets, not with a little bit of a bias for the data for like the detachments that they could go in. So we're going to be ranking it off of its top potential. So yeah, is Shalaxi theoretically worse because she can't be taken in coteries? Sure, but let's be real. We're going to rank her for the detachment that she's in and how good she is once you take her detachment. And you know, likewise, we're gonna be ranking flawless blades on their best, not on their worst.
Yeah. So just to run through it, we've got Fulgrim's favorites. This is like the equivalent of your S tier units, your pretty much auto takes. These guys are awesome. Blessed by Slaanesh is pretty good. Loyal Servants are pretty average. Weak Underlings are pretty weak. And boring and bad is its own category, because being bad's not enough. You have to be boring and bad.
Well, there is nothing worse than being boring, than having already experienced something flavorless, bland.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, I imagine, what it's like to live as a servant of the Corpse Emperor.
This is just like eating bland chicken with no seasoning.
Not even.
It's
Corpse Girl.
All right, John. Talk to me about flawless blades. What are these things?
Oh boy. So flawless blades, man, they're the unit I want to love. They got these sweet new models because they're a brand new unit, but they're really a combat unit that does nothing else and is not super reliable at its job for their points. I have certainly seen the math on what happens if you like take a flawless blade unit and you buff it to the gills in Coterie the Conceited or something, but literally everything gets better when you give it those rules. So I really worry that flawless blades is a premier melee unit that is a 3 wound, 3 up save, guy walking around on foot, can't get into Rhino, has 3 attacks, no inherent rerolls. I really worry that the flawless blades got some flaws.
They might have some flaws, definitely. They have a lot of things going against them. But one thing this army seems to struggle with overall is like a lack of high-end damage. It struggles to kill those tougher targets. And flawless blades, always wounding on 3s with multi-damage weapons, does help you get over that hump. Do you think they have like a niche value there?
I think so. I can really see the appeal of a 3-man unit to attach Lucius to, so that Lucius gets to wound on 3s. And like, would I pay 110 points for Lucius to get +2 to wound against a knight? Yeah, honestly, I might. Hey, someone else catches the Melticons before Lucius, but then I lose the lone up at the fights first. So, it's a tricky one. I personally, I think that niche of they wound everything on 3s keeps them out of just like the pits.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd be boring and bad.
Oh, no.
But I would say they're loyal servants. I don't think they're a bad unit. I think that they are still 3 models with a 3-up armor save for 110 points, which is always a little difficult for me to stomach.
Do you think they're weak underlings? I mean, they're pretty strong boys.
I think they're loyal servants.
They're loyal servants.
I think they're loyal servants.
So,
that rule is phenomenal. It's that rule is worth 2 tiers, let's be honest.
And their stats aren't terrible. They're just a little pricey.
Yeah, there is a correct price tag for them.
Yeah. They're a little bit cheaper. I think they could move up in the
100%. I'd be happy to take them at a slightly reduced points cost.
Let's talk about one of your favorites, the Demon Prince with wings over here.
I think the Winged Demon Prince is like actually my favorite.
Is he Fulgrim's favorite?
I think he's Fulgrim's favorite, honestly. So the Winged Demon Prince, if you've played Chaos Space Marines, you may know that the Winged Demon Prince isn't that good.
But he was promised. The Prince was promised.
Yeah, well, that's because these poor CSM players, these Black Legion players, they don't know perfection if it slapped them in the face. The Winged Demon Prince is extremely durable, and he brings some mortal wound output that you otherwise don't have a ton of access to. The Winged Demon Princes really benefit from the army roll. They're so inherently fast. They move 14 and fly. And they love being able to advance and charge, fall back and charge, really go. And they're relatively small. It's 160 millimeter base with fly. They get around very quickly.
Yeah, and not only they're like super fast with advance and charge, but the fall back and charge is incredibly good on them because they cap out at strength 8. They can get bumped into by like a Rhino or like almost anything and like get stuck in that combat. In Emperor's Children, though, you just don't have that problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I really love them because they give out the mortals when they charge. And then because they're -1 damage, they are one of the very few things in this book that is actually durable for points.
And they're great rapid ingress options. They're great for getting into a backfield, taking a home field objective, just really dominating your opponent's areas where they are not used to having problems.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's for me, it's Fulgrim's favorites because they carry the enhancements of the army really well as well.
Fulgrim's favorites.
Fulgrim's favorites. I think in coteries where they're at their best.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good in other detachments too.
What happens if you take the wings off this boy and make him alone up?
He's still pretty good, honestly. The Foot Demon Prince, he has the same output, same kind of stat line mostly, but he gets 3 rules. He gets a 2-up fight on death. He gets lone operative when he's near some infantry, and he gets a +1 AP aura when you charge. I actually really like the +1 AP aura. I really want to get that into my list, quite frankly. It's just that he's 15 points more
and slower
than a Winged Demon Prince to be slower, but a lone op if they were the same
too,
cost,
right? Toughness 10?
T10 not -1 damage,
right?
So
similar.
Yeah, well, then no -1 damage. For me, I think that the Foot Demon Prince is good. I just think that he gets kind of boxed out by the time you're buying a Demon Prince kit, there's some plastic wings right there.
Yeah, you're not really gonna take too many Demon Princes. I mean, you could. I've written lists with 6 princes, but I think you're often going to spring for the wings here. Save points by springing for the wings.
Yeah,
not
it's
have
the
a
save points to get the wings is what kills it to me. For me, I think that he's a loyal servant. I think he's good. I think he's an interesting tech piece.
You think he's in the same tier as Flawless Blades?
Yeah, I'm about as likely to take him as I am to take Flawless Blades.
Interesting.
They both provide something that you don't get somewhere else. I don't think that they're efficient ways to get that. But a +1 AP aura is genuinely helpful and something I would actually quite like on a few units.
Yeah. I want to take a second, just acknowledge that we're getting a bunch of super chats and all that. Folks, we are going to be answering all of them at the end. So thank you so much for all of your endless support for our channel. And stay tuned. We'll answer those. And also stay tuned, because I think we should rank Fulgrim a little later. People are going to be real eager to see him.
We can save Fulgrim to the end.
I want to save Fulgrim, the best for last, as they say.
Okay.
And maybe the Heldrake can go next.
The Heldrake can go next. Big monsters with wings.
He flies really fast. He flew into first place.
Absolutely. So the Emperor's Children Heldrake isn't exactly the CSM one. It's got a 2-up save. And I think it has a slightly different way to do mortal wounds than the CSM one. All that's to say that it's better.
He's also tougher, right? Like mildly tougher.
I think he's T9, 14 wounds, 2-up armor, or 5-up.
So he's got 2 more wounds, and the 2-up armor is a little bit different.
Yeah, I'd have to check the wound count.
He might be the same.
overall, he's a very fast-moving flamer without OC. But because he is incredibly fast, there is something to be said for just going a yard and tying something up.
Right. You can go from safely behind a wall on your side of the board, advance, shoot and charge, and then tie up whatever you want on your opponent's side of the board. Maybe attack a backfield full of cultists or like intercessors. He's really good at killing that kind of stuff, actually. And then he is amazing into fly targets with anti-fly 2+.
Yeah, and dev wounds, I think, on his combat, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he like, just annihilates things that fly.
Charge him into an Eldar army and watch it die.
Yeah, I am sure they won't do anything about the Heldrake. But, yeah.
After he kills the Incarn, the fire dragons can get him.
That is pretty close, actually, to how that would go, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he de-solos an Incarn, but that Incarn is not going to be comfortable. It
No.
takes some battle shock tests.
He's pricey. I think that's the biggest problem. Pricey and 0 OC.
195 to not have OC is what sinks me, because as much as I love the idea of yeeting him across the table to go stare down some intercessors, the problem is that he's fairly likely to kill 4 intercessors.
Yeah.
Like, his output's good, but it's not almost 200 points good.
Even if he kills all 5, he doesn't take a sticky objective, and that's what really kills me. Because
Yeah.
like you could like not kill an intercessor squad in a turn and have it still be worth it, but not if you're not taking the objective.
Yeah, if he was 3 OC when he was in hover mode.
Yeah.
If he was cheap enough that I didn't mind that he didn't score me points ever.
Yeah. He's expensive and doesn't points, which means
Yeah.
he's got to be really good at everything else he does. And he is good at it, but he's not like great at it.
Good at it. Yeah. For me, he's a weak underling.
He's a weak underling.
I don't think it's like an actual worst thing ever. It's just, as much as I like going 20, advancing, and charging, that is very fast. It's not like Emperor's Children are struggling to go fast.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
hit things. Now, is he faster? Sure. But it's not like he's going faster and hitting as hard.
You don't think there's like merits to like him plus Fulgrim plus Princes and like I am a fast army, like not like reasonably fast, like this is unreasonably fast.
I don't think I can afford Fulgrim after 3 Princes and 3 Heldrakes.
You sure can.
I don't think
you
I
don't have
want
much
to.
else after that, but it fits.
I don't think so. I think the Heldrake is cool. I do want to paint one up, but to me, he's the weakest underling.
Yeah, this is a competitive focus channel, so despite him being cool, he's not one of Fulgrim's favorites.
No, sadly, I haven't figured out a good conversion for him yet. But once I do, that's when he'll go to Esther.
Definitely. What about these infantry dudes? Are these the Tormentors and Intractors next?
That one right there looks like it's Tormentors.
Okay, so Tormentors, tell me about them.
Tormentors are honestly pretty awesome. The Tormentors are the battle line unit that infiltrates and stickies objectives, and it just comes with a smattering of precision weapons.
And his OC2.
And OC2, yeah, it's a battle line Space Marine, which is awesome because those are generically pretty good.
Basically a much better scout squad.
Yeah, it doesn't scout, but like it stickies.
Infiltrate
And that's
stickies
pretty good. Yeah. I'll take it. They've been really good as just like a baseline scoring unit because someone has to do the job.
Yeah.
Which obviously no one wants to be on objective duty because that's boring. But it is nice that you can sticky things and leave. It is also still a relatively inexpensive unit. 85 for 5 power armor boys isn't the cheapest unit out there, but honestly, it's not that expensive either.
No, and like two by 5 of these guys basically screens out your whole backfield if you need, and stickies your home field, guards that done.
Yeah, I've been taking 2x5 as an automatic default. Just I see no reason not to take 2 squads, frankly.
Yeah. Now they're not particularly flashy with what they do, but they do a very, very important job in a competitive list.
I think they're blessed by Slanesh.
They're blessed.
I think they're blessed.
They're blessed with infiltrating sticky. That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, look, what they do after that is really fine. Like it doesn't.
That's not too important.
Yeah. Look, at some point I will get the precision melt-a-gun to do something funny. I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone has already lived my dream of killing an orc war boss with a melt-a-gun without killing the knobs. I haven't gotten there yet, but one day.
You have very specific dreams.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I want the melt-a-gun to find the war boss and go pink.
And just gone.
Yeah, just gone. Just get a melter range. You advance and shoot. You can get a melter range so easily.
You know who else is like a very good character for all kinds of things?
Who else?
Who else?
Yeah, right. Other than Tormentors.
Well, I was talking about the orc boss that you were talking about. The orc boss you brought into the Emperor's Children tier list.
The Cacophonist.
The Cacophonist.
I love the Cacophonist. I feel like we got to do Noise Marines first, though.
You wanna bring the Noise Marines?
I want to
up?
bring the Noise Marines forward. That's actually what the Blastmaster sounds like.
Yeah,
100%.
It's a carnival.
Yeah, it's the March of the Gladiators over here. So we're gonna skip the Cacophonist. We're gonna go to the Noise Marines. Noise Marines have the only gun in the Codex, other than the Land Raider, which
The Heldrake.
the only one in the Codex. It's not a precision mounted gun, but they're still pretty good. Noise Marines, honestly, probably have been my biggest surprise of the Codex, like my favorite thing.
You really like them?
I really like Noise Marines. When I first read it, the Noise Marines range really got me down because I was like, oh, Blastmaster, what did it change from before? Oh, it's like the same thing. Oh, that's weird. They put a typo in it. It says 18 instead of 48. Oh, well.
I was also not a big fan of 135 for 6 Space Marine bodies. That's a little pricey.
I've loved them.
Yeah.
They've been so good.
Tell me about why you like them so much.
So they're the only gun in the army. So like
that's an important job.
that's an important job because playing without guns is just playing World Eaters, and I would never. But instead, we get Noise Marines. And you get 2 really good weapons on there. The Sonic Blasters as 3 shots of 5-1-2 ignore cover. Yeah, it's short range, but that's fine. The range has not been the problem I expected it to be. And then just getting 12 of those shots. Very good for clearing out infantry and does moderate damage to vehicles, right? Yeah. It's not great into Lehman Russ and things like that. But, I've been able to take a couple damage off of trucks and rhinos and, occasionally get 2 or 4 damage off of a war dog or something like that. And it's
Each
good
guy
enough.
basically has a heavy bolter. Like, that's not bad.
It's an ignores cover heavy bolter, which really matters in today's Armor of Contempt economy. Mm-hmm. When suddenly it's like, are you really going to spend Armor of Contempt for one of these activations? Like, sure, it's a CP and I'm just going to keep shooting you.
Yeah.
So very happy with that. And then the Blastmaster. 6 shots of 10-2-3 ignore cover. Also the split profile, way better than I thought it was.
Yeah. Was it 6 shots at 6-1-1?
6-2-1 ignore cover.
6-2-1 ignore.
Yeah,
That's really good.
The first time I fired 2 Sonic Blasters out of a Rhino and iced a Groot squad, I was like, oh, that kills cheap infantry way better than I was expecting it to.
Yeah, I mean, 12 shots at 6-2-1 will basically just ice like Cultist, Groot, any of that stuff.
Yeah, Guardsman, and ignores cover as well.
Yeah.
So AP2 ignores cover is a really fast Guardsman
hit on 3s, wound on 2s, dead.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. That's pretty good.
So very pleasantly surprised. I have not yet found a good use for their datasheet rule. So instead, their datasheet rule has been that you get to carry the Sonic weapons. But because what they do is they apply a -1 leadership to something that you hit until your next shooting phase, which theoretically affects their battle shock test if you shoot them and have them but don't kill them. It affects it if you cause a battle shock test with the Cacophonist. I have not yet pulled off a single time where that negative has mattered. I've made something -2 and then it passed the battle shock anyways. I was like, all right, well, I tried. Yeah. But most of the time, if I'm like focusing firing multiple Noise Marines units into something, it's like dead.
Yeah.
Or if it was important, they just auto pass it. So
yeah, I think they're here for the damage, for more Marine bodies, for some shooting. Where do you think they land?
Oh, Fulgrim's favorites.
Fulgrim's favorites?
100%. They're right up at the top. Honestly, they might even get ahead of the Prince.
I cannot. The Prince is too good. But they can.
The Noise Marines.
I know the Noise.
You experienced the Noise Marines.
I did lose 6 possessed to 6 Blastmaster shots. Is that math? Who cares?
You didn't, but it was close.
I feel like I did. Can't tell me how I feel.
All right.
The Cacophonist goes next.
Cacophonist is up next. So the Cacophonist is just a character that joins the Noise Marines. He can join other things, but we don't care about that. He joins the Noise Marines. I really love this guy.
Yeah.
He's 6 Sonic Blaster shots that are ballistic skill 2, 12-inch range, so really good output. For only 60 points, he's frankly just fantastic. I like him as a character to join the unit, give them sustained hits, cause some battle shock tests, cause some mortals when you shoot at infantry. I also like him as a solo guy. He's a Cacophonist for 60 points. Reasonably durable for a character, right?
2 up, 4 up?
Yeah, 2 up, 4 up, T5, 6 wounds.
Man walks around like a Terminator Lord for 60 points.
Yeah, he's just 2 Terminators glued together with 2 Sonic Blasters and Ballistic Skill 2 for 60 points.
And then he joins the Noise Marines if he wants, gives them all sustained hits along with 6 more heavy bolter pistol shots.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cacoph, it's so rare where like you join a character to a unit without an enhancement and it actually enhances the damage output.
Yeah.
But the Cacophonist actually scales really well. Right, where like you could think about it like, does 2 Noise Marine squads with 2 Cacophonists shoot harder than 3 Noise Marine squads? It's honestly pretty close.
The sustained hits really goes a long way, plus the output of himself.
Yeah. And then as soon as you hit your 3 Noise Marine limit, and you're like, oh, now the Cacophonist is just the best gun I can take.
Yeah.
I have been very pleased with the Cacophonist. I'm still struggling with how to fit the 3 that I want in. I haven't yet been able to write a list with 3 that I've been happy with.
Yeah.
But I keep circling it and trying it. To me, I think the Cacophonist is blessed by Slanesh. I think it's really good. It's not as good as the 3rd Noise Marine squad. Like, I'd rather have 3 Noise Marine squads than 2 with Cacophonists. But it's very strong still.
Yeah, it definitely is. I've been very impressed with them. I first read the data sheet and I thought it was kind of weak, but having seen it on the board, having played against it, and also the price point is just so hard to argue with.
Yeah. Going to 60 points was quite generous, I think, the updated MFM.
Next, we've got the Humble Land Raider.
Oh, man.
Fortunately, I could not find a pink one for our graphics, but you get the idea.
I think we can forgive you for your flaws.
Oh.
This is just a Land Raider. It holds 14, not 12, so it's like slightly better than a Chaos Land Raider, but it gets advance and shoot instead of sustained. I don't know what I'd rather have.
You could also, like, in the transport detachment, advance, shoot the Land Raider, disembark from Land Raider, then get back into the Land Raider, which is something.
No, you can't advance and disembark from the Land Raider.
Because it's not dedicated?
That's just
That's not part of it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what the Rhino does.
That's the Rhino. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just the Rhino does that. It's adorable, but like I think you can only even remotely consider it in Rapid Evisceration, which is a transport-based attachment. I'm building one up because I really want to try it, but quite frankly, I don't think a Godhammer Land Raider with no output buffs is ever going to move the needle in today's Warhammer.
Now, he does have 4 las cannons, which is not exciting, but it is, again, one of your only long-range anti-tank options.
It is our only multi-damage weapon, I think, that shoots longer than 24.
Yeah. That doesn't tickle your fancies?
It's 4 shots with no rerolls. Like, what that. No sustained either.
It's
4 last cannon shots.
You can't pay $240 for 4 last cannons that sit in the back. And if you drive it forward, which you probably want to do, it's kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
Stuff.
It's weak. I don't think it's like...
You don't think it's boring and bad?
No, I don't think it's boring and bad. Like, I think in Rapid Evisceration, it's interesting because it's the only way to give Flawless Blades the reroll ones. So it's best if you take it in its optimal form and its best attachment, I think it is merely bad. Not like boring and bad, just like weak.
It's like weak. It's a weak underling.
Okay. Yes, it's... Okay. I can see it in Rapid Evisceration to give your Flawless Blade some fun times. That is it.
Yeah.
That is it.
Probably leaving this at home.
Yeah, sadly.
You know who you're not leaving at home?
Is the Lord Exaltant.
The Lord Exaltant. What a guy.
Yeah, so when you compare him to a Chaos Lord, I was like a little lukewarm on him.
Yeah.
But I think you just need him. I think you just need him.
The man hits hard. 3 extra attacks from once per game puts him up to like 8 attacks.
Yeah.
And then
he also gets +1 AP when he does that, which was better than that has played in more than I expected.
+1 AP is a great roll.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not damage 3, which is a little lame. You have a severe lack of damage 3, but you have princes and you have blastmasters, so it's not like you're craving it.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's just like 8 power fist attacks at AP 3 is pretty good. Hits on 2s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've really enjoyed that. Also, the fact that he gets the Phoenix Spear as an option instead of a Power Fist has been tremendous. It's strength 7, AP 2 damage 2, so similar to Power Fist, 1 less strength, has Lance. Yeah. Lance is phenomenal in an army that has access to fallback and or advance and charge relatively easily. I have been very pleased with the Lord Exaltant. So I don't want to say I've been surprised, because like he hits as hard as I expected, but I thought that not having a free strat would make me like him less, and honestly, no, he's just been really good. And at this point, I'm up to taking 3 of them in most of my lists. For me, he's one of Fulgrim's favorites.
Fulgrim's favorites?
Yeah, the Lord Exaltant is fantastic.
He's going in the army list.
Yeah, you just start taking him. Very character-heavy army so far, which I wasn't expecting from Southern, but yeah.
Speaking of characters, what about the big man himself, Lucius?
Oh, man. Lucius the Eternal he's so good in half of my games.
Yeah.
Like, what he does is phenomenal, and then he costs 140 points for a guy, which is like, ugh.
Let's just break him down. He's a lone up. He's got a bunch of attacks. He fights first. He's strength 8, AP 3 damage.
Great
what
profile.
Is not to love here?
Absolutely. As well, he does do a really good job of just, like, killing big things, because he rerolls hits and wounds into monsters, characters, walkers. So he doesn't really care about rhinos, but anything else, he'll mess it up pretty bad.
Good into knights.
Good into knights, yeah. He loves killing knights. He's been really good, and he's a 2-up armor, 4-up invuln, 5 feel no pain, T5, 6 wound lone up.
Yeah.
He is hard to kill, but then I've also just had him just like die.
I mean, he's still a Space Marine.
He is a juiced up Space Marine, but if someone hits him with like something to kill a squad of Space Marines, he'll die about the same.
As someone who's played against Lucius a handful of times, I really hate the mental gymnastics I have to deal with when fighting against him because he's very tiny. He can move advanced charges with Emperor's Children speed pretty much wherever and like get into a Nook and Cranny and murder something.
Yep.
He threatens heroic super well because he fights first. So he can just like stage himself behind a wall and I can't really charge anything near him. And that really is difficult to play around in addition to like his obvious applications.
Yeah, I think because he adds dimensions to the army that you don't otherwise have, which is fights first, rerolls.
Yeah.
I think as a lone operative.
Yeah.
Those are three things that you otherwise don't get a lot of access to in Emperor's Children. I think for that reason, you do just take Lucius.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think he's one of Fulgrim's favorites. I actually like him better as a lone operative solo guy than joined the Flawless Blades. I think you're doing yourself a disservice by joining him.
Yep. I usually agree, which is why he's going to Fulgrim's favorites and the Blades are staying in Loyal Servant. The best part of the Blades is that they can join Fulgrim. That is not the best part, or that they can join Lucius, but that's not the best part of Lucius.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, within each tier ranking, like Fulgrim's favorites, for example, we're not really trying to decipher who is better among these. This is just...
I'm willing to do it.
John's willing to do it, but that's not the point. We're basically just saying these are the best units you can access.
I want to do it.
Okay, John, do it. At the end. All right, we got the Maulerfiend, one of my personal favorites. Talk to me about this bad boy.
Where do you think this guy's gone?
Fulgrim's favorites, he's the Maulerfiend.
All right, fair enough. The Maulerfiend is basically the same profile as what you get in Chaos Space Marines. He's actually carrying Fulgrim's sword, which is awesome because he's the second source of a 6 attack, strength 14, d6 plus 1 damage that you can get. It's him and Fulgrim.
Yeah.
With their identical melee output.
Big smash.
Yeah, big smash. I mean, he's not the same weapon skill, and he's one less AP, so he's not literally the same. But he moves 10. He's a normal, like, battle tank profile, right? He's 12 wounds, T10, 3 up armor save, 5 up invuln, 6 big tank busting attacks. And you can choose between either getting 4 6-inch like melted pistol shots or getting a 6 extra attacks with the lash at like 711. I actually like the meltas. I think the Maulerfiend is pretty good.
I think so too. He also gets +1 to hit in this army if he's damaged and +1 to wound if he's below half strength, which is not impossible to trigger, especially +1 to hit. That's kind of easy. He definitely fills the niche of hits hard, is aggressive, is melee, which this army is kind of made of. So I think he synergizes well too.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that the Maulerfiend, if you look at it, you just say, oh, it's the same as CSM. Like, it's right, but then everything around it makes it wrong.
Yeah, the context needs to really be reevaluated.
Something that I've really found when I was playing Stormlands for a little bit for Space Marines is that Advance in Charge is an army rule instead of as a stratagem or a once per game buff really changes the dynamic of what you want to advance in charge. A CSM Maulerfiend is like almost never going to be the best thing to advance in charge. So it's like never getting the strat if you played Pact Bound Zealots or things like that. But in Emperor's Children, he just gets it in addition.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're not paying a CP each time you want to use a Maulerfiend, suddenly that advance in charge really adds up. Suddenly it's like, oh, I can just roll this advance and, oh, it's a 5. Yeah, I think I will send him on the adventure. Oh, it's a 1. Maybe he'll wait a turn. No big deal. A lot more value there as well. Melee, pressure, going in, punching tanks, something that Emperor's Children don't have a ton of ways to do. And it really benefits from the buffs in a couple of these attachments. In Coterie of the Conceited, when you can just say, hey, 1 CP, reroll hits, go get him, buddy. Now it's advance in charge and reroll hits and you only spent 1 CP. I don't know if I'd spend 2 for that, but if I just need to flip a Rhino on an objective because someone touched like a speeder on an objective and like I don't want to send a Lord Exaltant at that, throw a Maulerfiend.
Yeah, also, it's a very similar defensive profile to a lot of what your army is made of. You're taking these flying princes, you might be taking rhinos, and then you take some Maulerfiends, and you can overload someone's ability to kill high toughness, good armor save models quickly, pretty effectively.
Yeah. I think that the Maulerfiend is actually blessed by Slaanesh.
I think so too. I think he's a blessed beast, the Maulerfiend.
It's
not
definitely
one of favorites, which makes me sad.
Not.
But he's good. He's really good.
But it's very good. Humble Bumble Rhino?
Humble Bumble Rhino. This guy, I mean, he needs no introduction. He's been around since day 1 of Warhammer. He transports your dudes and then he goes and bumps into stuff. He helps you out with actions. He has a modicum of shooting.
The advance and disembark is also massive.
That's true.
There's a reason. This is more points than a Rhino because it is significantly better. Advance and disembark, in addition to the Rhino being able to advance and shoot, gives you way more options for actually using your armies. A big problem with Emperor's Children is utilizing the army rule of everything in advance and shoot, but it can't shoot the same thing. And realistically, you're not made of units that one tap everything they hit.
Yeah.
And so it's a problem of like, I advanced 3 Noise Marine squads. All right, this first Noise Marine squad did half of the damage to a Rhino. Now no one else can shoot it.
Yeah.
But the Rhino lets you advance, disembark, and then the unit that disembarked didn't advance.
So it's actually a workaround the limitation of your
Exactly.
detachment.
That has been literally the best part of the Rhino.
That's awesome.
When you're going to shoot different things, you can just keep all your boys in the Rhino. You can shoot out the Blast Masters only. You're still good at killing infantry if you just fire a Rhino gun, like all the combi bolters and the blast, and then you put 2 Blast Masters at the top. That's good enough to kill 10 guardsmen fairly often.
And it's great at getting a line of sight that you really don't have access to in most cases. Like, units can move 12 out of Rhino, then disembark 3, and that's kind of their limit. Then you add the advanced roll and then do it. Now you can go up to 21 inches, completely change your range bracket, line of sight angles, and like really attack somebody's stage units that they thought would be safe.
The only thing wrong with that Rhino is that it's not painted pink.
Yeah.
Put it at the top.
At the top, Fulgrim's favorites.
Fulgrim's
we know
favorites.
where it's going right there.
Absolutely. All right.
The
Sorcerer.
The basic sorcerer. All things chaos always have a sorcerer, except Khorne.
So the Sorcerer, its gun isn't even that bad.
No,
but
6'2 D3.
It's 18 inches. It's a 60.4 wound spaceman, right? It's just 2 tactical Marines in a trench coat.
Yeah.
He gives his unit cover.
Which everybody just has cover when you play Warhammer.
You just have cover.
Yeah.
If you don't have cover, I don't think 60 points was really.
If you don't have cover,
matter.
it's because your opponent has the rule ignores cover, and then he's not helping.
Yeah. I just don't see it. He slows people down when he hits them with his gun, which is like cute, but like you're already getting really close to people. It's so rare that Emperor's Children are playing a standoff game.
Yeah.
Like where I'm like going to get within 18 of you, slow you down so you can't hit me, and then I'm going to dance around you. Like, maybe if I'm playing against World Eater Terminators, I don't know when else I would use this.
I really just don't think. I think this is why we have the category boring and bad.
Yeah, it's just
this guy
for him.
doesn't do anything interesting, and he's not good.
Yeah, the worst part for me is that he's the same cost as a Cacophonist, because they're both 60 points, and if he was cheaper, if he was 50 points, I could do something with that. But like, there's no way that I'm taking 3 Cacophonists and then I have points for a Sorcerer.
Slanesh has no time to be bored.
No, absolutely not. Here's the most damning thing. There are 17 data sheets in the Emperor's Children Codex that are Emperor's Children themed. Of these 17 data sheets, of every one that has been released, that is for sale now, I have all of them except the Sorcerer build.
Yeah.
I've even built a Heldrake. I've built a Land Raider. I've got footprints, wing prints. I don't have flawless blades, but I've already converted a Lucius and a Fulgrim just for the next month.
That's how you know it's boring and bad. John hasn't even built it. That is the determining factor.
Like, I have Terminators built. I've built everything else.
I believe it.
Everything, even all the demons.
He's boring and bad.
Boring and bad.
You know who's not boring or bad?
Chaos Spawn.
Chaos Spawn!
Chaos Spawn are pretty
Tell
good.
me about these wiggly worms.
So the Chaos Spawn, it's the same spawn profile as always. It's D6 attacks of like 5, 1, 2, or D6 plus 2 attacks of 5, 1, 2 each, which is like fine output. But they move 10. They have a 6-inch reactive move when you get near them, which is very new. That's like the unique thing that they do compared to other spawn.
Yeah, instead of healing. Ooh.
Yeah, but a reactive move is pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's
and
way better.
Also, moving 10 is incredibly fast when you remember that they get advance and charge very easily.
Yeah, they're relatively cheap. They still hit pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. I love them. They are the cheapest non-character unit we can take.
What's interesting, John, is I know when the Codex dropped, when we were first taking our first takes, I thought, and you thought, I believe, that Spawn were just like, you take 3 squads of these. They're so good. And I've noticed you're dropping down to like 1, maybe 0 sometimes. What's going on with that?
It's just the points. They're 80 and Tormentors are 85. And so what ended up happening was I'm down to 1 spawn, but if I'm putting a spawn on backfield duty, I can find 5 points to make it a Tormentor squad. And I think I'd just rather have a Tormentor, like 5 bodies than 2.
Even though the reactive move is nice.
The reactive move is really nice. That's why I like having 1 just as a very early game, like get this game going kind of piece. But just the points haven't worked out. I've also been trying to add more damage output because, you know, that with Emperor's Children, you really can't skirt the damage problem. Like you have to take damage to deal with it.
Yeah.
So if you try to take like 300 to 400 points of scoring, you like might actually not have enough. damage output left. And the problem is, like, as soon as they cost the same as a Rhino, it's like, oh.
They have a lot of competition at that price point.
Yeah. When they were 70 points, they were very unique and they fit very well. 80 points is just, I've got Rhinos for 80, I have Cacophonist for 60.
Yeah.
Would I save 20 points to take a Cacophonist over a Spawn? Maybe. And then the other battle line being just 5 points more than a Spawn is like, oh.
So where should we rank these creepy creatures?
I think they're still pretty good. I think they're blessed by Slaanesh.
They're blessed.
It's a good data sheet.
It is.
The problem with Emperor's Children is not in any way what they have.
Yeah.
What they have, almost everything they have is actually pretty good. You'll notice this tier list is quite top heavy.
Yeah, it is. There's only one boring and bad here.
Yeah, what they have is quite strong.
They just don't have many things.
That is the downside.
Yeah. Speaking of very elite, not many things, we have the Terminators.
This is, I mean, it's just a Chaos Space Marine Terminator unit. It moves 6 instead of 5. It doesn't get the sustained and the reroll hits. It gets reroll charges if you shoot all your guns at something, which I guess.
I would say they're substantially worse than CSM Terminators. Not rerolling hits, not dark patching is pretty bad.
Yeah, and then they're just like advance and charge is cool, advance and shoot is cool, but they don't like shoot that hard, so I don't really care.
Rerolling the advances, rerolling the charges. They are much faster, I would say.
They
Than
don't reroll the advances. They
just the charges?
They reroll charges if they shoot all of their guns at the thing you're going to charge.
Which is a little counterproductive because your opponent could pull their closest casualties and actually make that charge further.
Yeah. And like the best thing you can do is fire like one bolter and then not fire the rest of your guns.
Yeah.
But every gun you fire has to hit the same unit or you
Yeah, and also like one of the nice things about Terminators is that they are shooting capable and combat capable where they can put their guns somewhere else and charge something else and add up in 2 places in 1 turn.
Yeah. They have a little bit of limited value to me because they are the only like infantry with the 2-up save. They have a deep strike innate, at least you can rapid ingress them. They don't have any characters that can join them. You will never gaslight me into putting a Cacophonist in that unit. If the Cacophonist had deep strike, maybe, but they don't. I think that they are just like weak underlings.
You don't think they're loyal servants? You think they're worse than this stuff?
I would rather
They're
have
in the Heldrake Land Raider
I think
tier?
they are.
Oh man.
I might try one unit in Coterie as like a late game piece because hey, once you give something sus 5s, lethal, sustained, reroll 1s, hit and wound, everything becomes good output. And at that point they hit very hard. But like until then, they don't hit that hard. Yeah. And at that point, I'm just paying because they're not that expensive for the defense. It's 170 for 5 Terminators.
They also really compete with like a Demon Prince for the rapid ingress spot, which I think rapid ingress is their best potential, but like I'd rather rapid a Prince.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're weak.
Sad Terminator noises. They go in the Land Raider.
They do.
They do.
All right. So we've got some Intractors up next. This is the melee battle line unit. So all the bonuses of being a battle line Space Marine. They get the classic reroll wounds against objectives and reroll 1s in if they're not on objective. And this is melee only. They also get Scout, which is really nice.
Yeah, scouting Rhinos.
Yeah, scouting Rhinos. It's pretty good. Scout really keeps the Rhinos alive, honestly, because I like to deploy them on the line and then not get punished when I go second.
Yeah.
I've been really happy with Intractors. Getting Scout, just a 5-man with a Lord. It's just a whole package. You get
reroll wounds on your Lord is nice.
No, it's 5 Infractors with a Lord attached, and you copy and paste it until you run out of points.
Yeah, it's a great unit. I really enjoy that your Lord gets reroll wounds. It gives you some OC on that Lord. It just does it all. It's not that expensive. Gets your Rhinos where it needs to be.
Yeah, there's a real argument, to be clear, for taking like a 10-man with a Lord because the second 5 don't cost as much as the first 5. It's 85, 160, and 160 is not bad for 10 power armor bodies. We're down to loyal Space Marine prices at that point.
Yeah.
And hey, it's 10 power armor dudes. I've been relatively happy with Infractors and a Lord in a Rhino. It's just a good go missile out and mess up someone's primary piece. Yeah. And I like that.
I've been on the receiving end of them. They are pretty solid. Where do you think they fit into this list?
I think they're blessed by Slaanesh. They're not like super flashy, but they're very good.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Your infantry are mainstays.
100%.
Next, we got a pile of demons, which again are only takeable in one specific detachment.
The Carnival of Excess.
Which is not the Legion of Excess.
No, totally different.
Totally different. They also got reworked data sheets across the board except for Seekers. And slightly different price points. So we've got the Demonettes here, regular old Demonettes. They fight first now.
Yeah, they fight first now. They cause battle shock test in combo, which is kind of adorable. I really wish I could take 10 of them into different detachments, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, having to play this specific detachment, which kind of sucks outside of the fact that you can take demons, is tough.
Yeah, the stratagems of Carnival really break my heart. But
90 points for 10 OC2 bodies is not bad.
yeah, I think that they're loyal servants.
They're loyal
I don't think Demonettes aren't bad. I like fights first. Their combat is a little scratch the painty, but it's not bad.
Right.
Fiends. I actually quite like Fiends.
Really? What do you like about the new Fiend version?
Well, it's cheaper than the old Fiend version. No, they're not -1 to hit, but that doesn't matter if you're getting shot. Mm-hmm. And it's less points to pay for something that's going to die on its way to combat. So I actually would rather pay 95 for this Fiend than 110 for the old Fiend.
Interesting.
In the context of Emperor's Children. Yeah. Because they're just there to get delivered. They're very fast. They go through walls. They're the fastest thing that can go through a wall in the demon access here. And so they're great for delivering the combat buff of the sustained or crit 5s. So I actually think that the Fiends are blessed by Slanesh.
You think they're blessed?
If you're taking Carnival, I think you take 3 units of Fiends every time.
Wow. I really dislike Fiends in my days playing demons, but I don't know their context in EC, so maybe
they are cheaper, and they're the fastest thing to go deliver sustained hits to my EC units.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
They're better because they're the same cost as Demonettes, but this one is faster, and I don't need them holding the objectives.
Yeah.
I already have things that are cheaper than Demonettes to do that. I want it to go fast, make contact at the same time as my Blades and my Intractors, my Demon Princes, to give them the sustained.
Yeah. Looks like we missed one thing. The Demonettes are OC1 in this army, which I did not catch. Makes me like them a little bit worse, I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
But I don't think that knocks them down to weak underlings. I still think they're loyal servants.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. Keeper Secrets.
Keeper of Secrets. She is...
Lost her 5-up Feel No Pain, traded it for a 3-up armor.
That's not it. You can't just take 5 of Feel No Pain off this model and then keep it roughly the same
it did get 10 points cheaper.
Yeah, it sure did. Would you pay 10 points to give your greater demon 5 of Feel No Pain? Would you just do that? I would. I would do it 100
Not
times.
if I lost a 3-up armor save.
Would you pay... Would you lose 10 points and lost your 5 of Feel No Pain and be like, yeah, this is pretty much the same?
No, this is bad. Is it boring and bad?
I think it's boring.
I think it's boring and bad, yeah.
It's like, I literally don't even acknowledge the Keeper as a datasheet anymore. It's very sad.
It is. Seekers
I acknowledge quite a lot. These things scout 9, then they move 14. They have those really cool oval bases, which you can use to create funky combats and move blocks and all kinds of stuff. I just think this is a great datasheet.
Yeah. I don't even like them as much as Fiends, which I know Nick is going to think is crazy.
I do think it's crazy.
That's fair. I was going to go Loyal Servant, but
oh my goodness.
I could go bet. This isn't a move block army.
No, but it is a jail your opponent army because, a lot of the games that I've played against DC involve me going second and my army doesn't leave its deployment zone for half of the game. And these really, really help with that plan.
We could put them in around Fiends tier. I think one lower than Fiends. I like Fiends better.
It's fine. They can go right there. I could see them both being loyal servants, but I cannot live in a world where Fiends are better than Seekers by that extent.
Man, I don't have any Seekers in my
I don't have any
list.
Fiends in my demons, but this isn't a demon tier. I know.
It's different.
I'm just bringing my demon knowledge into it.
It's fair. It is valuable. Tell me about Shalaxi then, since you... Yeah, I bet you like your Shalaxi.
What if we took off the Feel No Pain? What if we took away the rerolls? And then what if we didn't really make her that much cheaper? To take away the Feel No Pain and the rerolls, I would expect that 400-point price tag to turn to a 200-point price tag or something ridiculous. And it didn't do that. It didn't do that.
Yeah. Her mechanic to get her rerolls is interesting enough that I think you can get it still, but not that.
No, I want to make a new category right now for Shalaxi and the Keeper. Forget boring and bad. How about just useless? Insulting and useless.
Yeah. I mean, boring is the same as insulting, actually. You're insulting my senses by depriving them of what they crave. She's boring and bad.
Goodbye.
She's not even boring. She's just so bad that I became bored.
Yeah, honestly, this whole tier is just so bad that we added the word boring. It's just, I don't even know. Poor Shalaxi. Why did they do this? Because Legions of Excess were winning tournaments. That's why they did this.
It's the cost difference.
You can't value 5 of Feel No Pain at 10 points.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Shalaxi She costs what, like 380?
I think she's
390?
something like that.
And
She's
what is
high
Is she
threes.
425 in
She's
demons?
420. So for like a 35, 40 point enhancement, roughly speaking,
Yeah.
you get rerolls to hit, wound, and damage against monsters, vehicles, characters, and 5 up feel no pain.
I also feel like you have to acknowledge that the -1 attack in combat is really good.
Yeah, that's also really good. Like,
Yeah.
you know, what?
And all of this is being tiered, by the way, with the assumption that these are the demon allies we get, that I can't just say, I didn't like my demon data sheet, so I'm going to go get index demonettes and index keepers. Like, we're operating under that assumption.
Yeah.
Because why would they let us just take the better ones? Yeah, she is losing the -1 attack, and it's horrible.
Just not here for
All right,
it.
let's talk about Fulgrim. This is
Fulgrim, the best for last. That's what we saved him for. All right, John, talk to me about the big man or woman.
Fulgrim. I really wanted more out of Fulgrim. I hate to say that because, you know, Dad should be the exemplar that we all live up to, but he's not.
So, like, why is he a bad Primarch? I mean, he flies, he hits hard, he fast.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He flies. He does not hit that hard.
We'll talk about him.
So the problem is that his output for his cost is not great. And you can look at other things who have bad output to cost, like Guilliman. Guilliman helps the army out so much that you don't care that he doesn't hit very hard for 345 points. But Fulgrim doesn't help the army, and he's not a combat monster. Angron helps his army and is a combat monster.
And comes back to life 100% of the time. Ask any opponent of World Leaders.
It does happen 100% of the time. Now, for Fulgrim, what really damns him for me is that of his 3 abilities, they're all very selfish. It's all I -1 to hit. I fights first. It's not an aura of -1 to hit.
What do you expect?
I expect him to care about his kids a little bit, and he just doesn't.
Just doesn't.
And then his third one is interesting. It's the no fallback aura, which you can try to game with like Noise Marine shooting leadership modifiers to people. That's kind of cool. I don't like that for 3d5 because he has to give it to someone else. The problem is that Fulgrim is a monster, so you can just shoot him.
Yeah.
Like,
He's tough. He's big.
The one time I got him in combat and popped the you can't fall back aura, you know what Quentin did? Quentin didn't roll the dice. He just said, I don't care. And he just stayed in combat with me, shot Fulgrim to death, and then shot with the stuff that he's in combat with.
Let me get this straight. Fulgrim's got how many attacks and strength? What?
When he does his stabs, he's 6 attacks at 14 -3 d6 + 1.
That does sound like it hits.
It hits fine, but 385, a Maulerfiend is the same profile for 130. 6 attacks, strength 14, d6 + 1, AP 2.
You raise a good point. There.
130 or 385. You can take 3 Maulerfiends for 390.
That's also true.
Which is 18 attacks of strength 14
And 36 wounds.
and 36 wounds
Yeah.
instead of 16 wounds.
And then you could also be like, well, the Maulerfiends don't fly really fast, but you could take 2 princes. You know,
That's cheaper.
2 princes for what 360 is cheaper than Fulgrim, and there's 2 of them, and they do charge mortals, and they don't hit as hard. Strength 8 is not strength 14, but you know,
But it's more attacks than do mortals on the way in. They're also, they're tougher.
yeah, they really are.
Honestly, one prince has been tougher than Fulgrim.
That's just sad. That's just really sad.
-1 damage, 10 wounds versus 16 wounds. Like, yeah, Fulgrim is like a little tougher.
Yeah, but not twice the cost tougher. And like
Honestly, for how much smaller a demon prince is, I don't like the demon prince is harder to shoot to death than Fulgrim is because I can actually hide the darn thing.
Yeah, and he's easier to get into those small spots. Like one of the challenges with Fulgrim in any big base Primarch because you still have to land that base. You can't be in a ruin wall. You got to be an inch away from enemies.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult.
There's been some debate about whether or not Fulgrim's on 100mm versus 130mm base. It is not clear in the pictures, and we don't have the model yet, so we don't know. But I played him as 100mm like every other demon Primarch, just as like my baseline. Let's just proxy this guy. He's not like easy to hide.
No.
And he's got big wings that are hanging out on both sides of his base.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
He's not that tough. Like, yeah, you can use stratagems on him that you can put on anything else. Like, you can Armor of Contempt, you can Armor of Contempt of Prince.
If this was a coolness thing, he would be Fulgrim's favorites. But can Fulgrim even put himself outside of Fulgrim's favorites? Like, does that even work?
No.
No.
I don't. I'm the one ranking, not Fulgrim.
Oh, okay.
I'm deciding between weak underling and loyal servant.
He's got to be a loyal servant. He just can't, he's not a weak underling. He's Fulgrim. He's not an underling. That's how that works.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We can go bottom of loyal servants.
I don't think he's great.
He's not great.
I don't think he's going to make it into most competitive lists. But he's not like literally useless. He's just not optimal.
Yeah. I think the best thing you can do with Fulgrim is hold him to the very end and try to like have him be a late game wrecking piece when your opponent doesn't have the critical mass to kill him.
Yeah.
Is like Fulgrim is like waiting. You build up the kill tally and coterie, and then on turn 3 he sends out obliterate something because Fulgrim is ludicrously fast.
Yeah. He really
16
is.
advance and charge is really nice. But
all right, do we want to mess with this at all? Are you happy with how things have turned out here?
I'm happy enough. I think we can
happy enough.
call that where it is.
Awesome. Well, folks, that wraps up our Emperor's Children data sheet tier list. Let's go ahead and answer some glorious super chats.
Let's do it.
Let's see. Starting from the top.
Yeah.
McJohn Smith, who's become a bronze member of the War Room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, McJohn Smith.
And Uncle Home Fries.
Uncle Home Fries.
Uncle Home Fries. What a great name that is. Thank you so much for also becoming a bronze member.
Thank you very much.
You're going to love that. And as a bronze member, you can now have access to our Discord server where you can talk to John or myself or whoever and participate in our TTS leagues, which we're starting up. So one is going on right now. We're going to do more in the future. If you're interested in playing Warhammer with a huge global community and learning the game, you definitely, totally should.
All right. Red Room with a €2 super chat. Thank you so much. Make all the content. Thank you for that. Red Drum, we will keep making content.
Thank you, Red Drum.
Thank you.
As long as you keep supporting, we won't be stopping.
100%.
Sanox the Fate Twister with a $5 super chat. Saved from a 1 a.m. lesson planning by a tier list Tuesday. Keep being awesome, guys. Well, I'm here. You guys got a T-Sons Codex wish list. I want Scarabs back. I'm so glad I could save you from a lesson plan making at 1 in the morning. No one should be doing that. Instead, you should totally be doing Tier List Tuesday. So thank you for your support.
Yeah. T-Sun's Codex wish list. What do you got? I hope Magnus becomes a cool thing you don't have to take.
I hope that T-Sons have alternative play styles. I really just hate that it's this Marine and Trenchcoat army that Magnus does all the things. And there's like this Arcane Vortex guy who kills you. And it's just like a very... I don't want to say boring play style because it's very deep and intricate, but it's very like I have 20 Space Marines in Magnus, the army.
Yeah. I hope they change the identity of faction.
Yeah, I wish I want them to be able to take different data sheets in different combinations and have that be a functional list.
Mm-hmm.
Craig Foden who's become a Golden Room War member. That is awesome, Craig. You're going to get access to all of our videos now. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Red One with another €5 super chat. What do you guys think about Noise Marines as an allied unit in Chaos Space Marines? Any ideas? Also, John, if you dye your hair white, the 30k Fulgrim is close.
Ooh, might have to run that one by my fiance, but I could.
Or you just do it.
Or I just do it. I would never make a hair choice like that without consulting my significant other.
As someone who's made a hair choice like that, the stash, there's no consequences.
Zero.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do you think about
Noise Marines?
Noise Marines?
As allied units in Chaos Space Marines, do I have any ideas? I think they'd be really good. If you just get to take the Emperor's Children Noise Marine datasheet, take it for same cost in Chaos Space Marines, I think you would. Yeah. I would even play that, honestly.
I think Renegade Raiders really appreciates it. I think Veterans really appreciates it. I even think Bile could appreciate it. There's just like a lot of good stuff going on.
Hey, give him Ballistic Skill too, right?
Hey, hell yeah. You can make a 6 something to consider.
Yeah.
Or not sad when you roll it anyway.
I'll take it.
Frankie Origo, who's been a member for 36 months. That's 3 years. Thank you so much, Frankie. Maybe save when you get to him. Given the rumors on the base size, does Fulgrim's ranking change if he ends up on a 130mm base rather than a 100mm base?
If he's on a 130, he drops a tier for me.
Oh.
Yeah, 130 is...
But bigger is better.
That would be too much.
Yeah, I don't think that helps his cause at all. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
RN Jesus for a disciple with a €5 super chat is praising my Emperor's Children opponent's damage output to make him overpledge and coterie a valid strategy.
Absolutely, RN Jesus. It 100% is. If your EC opponent cannot control their own ego, they deserve the consequences of their own conceit.
I thought EC is not about controlling your ego, but embracing it.
You should embrace it and control it.
Interesting.
Let it run rampant, but hold on to the reins while you ride it off into victory and 7 pledge points. Turn 1. That's what I'm doing it.
John could do it. John's
Absolutely. I never miss my pledges.
Yeah. No one's ever done that.
I haven't.
Ricky Chow with a $5 super chat. Let's do an out-of-pocket question. Which Primarch are you going to ask out to a date, and which Primarch asks you out?
All right. Primarch that I would ask out to a date. Fulgrim, 100%. What are you talking about? Yeah. I don't even know if I can make that joke. However, the one that would ask me out, if I'm lucky, Sanguinius. If I'm lucky.
All right. Why would you want Sanguinius to ask you out?
Have you seen his hair?
I have.
I wish.
Yeah.
Also, the wings on a loyal Primarch. Come on. Wings on a loyal Primarch. That's rare. That's beauty.
Yeah.
It's grace.
I would like Fulgrim to ask me out. I think that's something he would do. And then Horse. Horse is a Primarch. I'll ask him out. He seems like he's done stuff.
Fair enough.
Next up, we've got AJ Omega with the $5 super chat. Hey guys, I love the content. Would your World Leaders list be like Brian Dowdery's LVO list, or do you have a great list I can test out? I'm not actually familiar with Brian's list is from LVO, but I know he made it all the way to the Shadow Round. He's a super well-accomplished World Leaders player, so I would definitely look to his list as a baseline. I know Anthony Vanilla and Jack Harpster, our other Art of War coaches, also are crushing it with World Leaders. They have similar lists as well, so you could take a look at any of their lists from events and probably do a good baseline.
I think Brian's list is quite good. I had a chance to play against Brian at the World Championship of Warhammer in the little shadow round between rounds 4 and 5. I don't know if his LVO list has changed significantly from that point. I'm going to go ahead and guess that because it's World Leaders and literally nothing has changed in that Codex in 12 months, or in that index, I'm willing to bet that they're similar. And if so, that's a great place to start. And having played Brian, he knows his World Leaders quite well. So if he took it to LVO, I think that is a good place to start.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up all our super chat, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for today's tier list. We will be back next Tuesday with more tier lists, and we'll be back all week with more Warhammer content. We know that there's going to be a big game update coming this week, so stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel. That's going to let you get notified every single time that we go live or if we post out videos, which we're going to be doing all this week as we get updates. Like the video, leave a comment. Really helps us continuing to grow and improve our channel for you. And of course, check out that forum where you can watch John play his Emperor's Children in a variety of games, literally right now, with the link below, thewarroom.vhx.tv, for a 3D free trial.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. We'll catch you all next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.